G'day folks. I'm just doing a little bit more work on the Chrysler 130. I want to try and get this thing running and at least partly out of the way so I can continue with the Yanmar inboard diesel and a few other little things like the Morris 1100. Yeah, a friend of mine is very interested in it. So he's got a 15-foot ski boat. He was going to convert it to an inboard, but considering this thing showed up, he said he's still got all the bits to go back to outboard configuration and is more than prepared to buy the control gear and everything for it. A friend of mine, or another co-worker of mine, had a 100 horsepower version of this, and he has new hydraulic cylinders and things to replace this bent one, or probably both of them anyway. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any more control gear, but he's just got boxes of miscellaneous bits, spare bolts, spare little bits of shit, solenoid, yeah, just odds and ends for this style of engine, this series, because this series came in so many different horsepower, but a lot of the parts are still interchangeable, like the starter, the solenoid, the cylinders for raising and lowering the unit, voltage regulators, distributor, all that sort of stuff. A lot of it's still fairly interchangeable. So I've got a good source of parts, and I've also downloaded a wiring diagram on it. So I'm currently testing the ignition, which seems to work. That's solenoid, and we want the ignition. Nice little pop through the distributor. Oh, so you can see one of the plugs lighting up. Oh, it was. It's capacitive discharge ignition, so let's see how it goes. Perfect. Good old solid state CDI ignition. It's made by Motorola, and it's a Series 2 or version 2 of this Magna Power ignition, and they're very good, reliable systems. You can even change the coil to a car coil. It does use points to trigger the ignition, so it's a mixture of both conventional points ignition and capacitive discharge. But these Permagap spark plugs are still in pretty good condition too, so I won't get any new ones yet. Looks pretty good. I guess I better stick them back in, give the carbies a clean up, get some water onto it, and then give it a test run. That doesn't seem to retract unless it's under compression. It bounces back when it's on compression and that pops out. But yeah, I might have to fix that if it does stay engaged. This whole collar thing's all worn. There we go. Yeah, it's just worn. Yeah, sticky. Just going to pull the fuel pump and filter assembly off, and I'm just trying to work out what this goo is. It's rather nasty stuff. And the only thing I can think is maybe an old ignition module melted down, and that's its potting compound. So it's going all down there. Everything's covered in it, and it seems to start just up there. So I'm guessing maybe it's old potting compound. It's like it's got little round plastic balls or something in it, little granules of plastic. Oh, so I've got the vacuum or something for the impulses or something like that. I can't remember how these work. I think this is an impulse based pump. It's got a diaphragm in it. May have to replace that. But yeah, that one goes to the pump and that one goes to the filter. So God knows what that's all about. Either that or it's maybe fuel heating. Don't know. Doesn't make sense though. All these lines were cable clamped and these other ones were just pressed on. So who knows? Someone will tell me. Oh dear, that's not good. Should have suffered a bit of overheat or maybe low oil. That piston's screwed. That top ring Oh dear. Oh well, it is a scrapyard engine. We'll make it run anyway. I don't know about putting it on a boat though. Not without a full overhaul, and whether or not it's worth it, but I'll keep an eye out for another similar horsepower engine from your mate. I'll just have to tell him the bad news tomorrow. Okay, well, curiosity got the better of me, so I pulled all the intake port covers off, and it's only one cylinder that's bad. This number 3, I believe. If it's 1, 2, 3, then it'll be number 3. The other ones look pretty good. So yeah. Oh, I'll pop them back on again. All but one gasket survived, which was actually the bad cylinder. But I've actually got the remains of an OEM gasket set for this engine, so I have one spare cover gasket, so that's pretty good. Same with a head gasket and everything. Carburetor reed valve gaskets, and it looks like the lower, or the crankcase bottom half type gasket. Or no, actually that'd be the exhaust manifold side. It's too small to be the crankcase. Yeah, that'd be an exhaust cover side gasket. Oh well, it's worth running it anyway. See what it does. Might be quite happy the way it is. Well, it's good to know the carbies are clean. That's all that was in it. A little bit of crud. I was expecting them to be full of coagulated oil and crap. Probably could have put the fuel straight to it and it would have worked. But I'll pull them to bits and clean them anyway. That little bit of crap, whatever it is, wouldn't help. Yeah, it's oxide or something, it's hard. Yeah. Tiny bit of moisture or something. It's just made a bit of alley oxide that's gone black. Cool. Almost there. Side cover's on, fuel pump's on. Just need to run some lines and prime it up. Connect a hose up to it somehow, or make an adapter for a garden hose. And then make some noise.